What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bill Reacts. I am Billy, and I am here to react. Mirror image always gets me. Today we are going to do 3 parts. Part 1, What a Woman Wants. No, excuse me, not the Mel Gibson film. What is a Woman? The Matt Walsh documentary. Interesting stuff. We'll see anyway. I do not have subscriptions to things, so we have a YouTube video we're going to watch. Again, it's an hour and a half, 30 minute, 30 minute, 30 minute, and we will go we'll go from there. So again, I'm Billy. I'm here to give you my thoughts on things, and today that thing is what is a woman? I don't know why I can't get it right. And I'll say this last thing here. I do hope this isn't a gotcha thing. I do hope he's not trying to one-up these people with sarcasm and snarky remarks. I do hope this is informational. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the aha, gotcha stuff. Just, I'm all for some sarcasm. I'm all for stuff like that in real life. But if you're trying to get information and if it's unprovoked, don't give anybody any crap when you're trying to fact find. So hopefully this is that kind of documentary where he's just trying to get information and, you know, we go from there. I've seen clips. He has a dry sense of humor. It looks like a dry tone. So hopefully that's all that it is from the little bit of clips that I've seen. Curious to see how this is going to go. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoy.
Being a dad is one of the great privileges of my life.
Yeah.
Give my son a BB gun, and that's just about all the emotional support he needs. My daughter, on the other hand, I've heard people say that there are no differences between male and female. Those people are idiots. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 4. I host a talk show. I give speeches. I write books. I like to make sense of things. I like to come out here to think. Nature seems to always tell the truth, even when we don't want to hear it.
Interesting thought.
The truth is, I'm not very good at fishing. But what is truth? What does that mean?
Thinking about the modalities that I use, I'm definitely informed by like feminist family therapy, and the idea is that we live in gendered worlds where there are certain imperatives that are placed on us about who we are and what we do based on how we've been gendered. From the minute I was assigned female, I was told, okay, these are the kind of clothing that you're going to wear. These are the type of play that you're going to engage in as a child, the path that maybe your life will take because of social expectation.
What do you mean by assigned female?
All right, hold on a second. I try to watch, react, and then give a little bit of review at the end, but I may forget some stuff. So here, she said assigned female when she was assigned female. No, you're born female. You can't dispute that. You're born a female. It's how your biology works. But I understand what she means by told the clothes I'm going to wear, the toys I'm going to play with, how I'm going to interact in society. I understand. She doesn't seem too old. She looks maybe late 20s, early 30s. So I don't know if she had like an older style upbringing, but for sure that could play a part in why she thinks how she thinks. You know, you're born a little girl, you're going to play with Barbies, you're going to like the color pink, you're going to wear high heel shoes and dresses. I get that. But that's not being assigned a gender and it picked for you. You're a woman, you're a girl, you're a female. If your parents choose to only allow you to play with certain toys, you know, I don't know what to tell you. That's, you know, if my daughter plays with a Barbie and plays with Captain America, I don't think she is going to be a boy or a girl, a lesbian or whatever. I think she's playing with a Barbie and playing with Captain America. There is nothing more to that other than a young child playing with toys.
the type of play that you're going to engage in as a child, the path that maybe your life will take because of social expectation.
What do you mean by assigned female? Who assigns female?
Yeah, so most times people, when they're born, they're assigned a gender
By the doctors.
Yeah.
Like, what do they base that
No, you're assigned it by biology.
assignment on?
So basically, it's based on genitalia. So people looking at genitalia and deciding, okay, this is a girl or a boy.
Which is true
and we know
information.
now that sex and gender are so much more than just this binary. Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
I just hit pause on the computer. I'm
How
sorry.
do we know that? How do we know?
No, this. Again, I'm sorry for pausing. I'm going to do my best not to, but this might be one of those, giving you a heads up now. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. We're going to play it through. We're going to pause and talk. But no, women do not have penises. That is pretty much the main characteristic of a man. It's why you have plugs. You have female plug that plugs get plugged into. You have male plugs that have the prongs that do the plugging in, if that makes sense. These things, it's natural. You know, if you want to say, well, we were assigned female because we can have things put into us like a plug, I mean, that's a stretch, but I will understand what you're saying. But to say that, you know, oh no, women have penises, daughters make us male or female, no, that's genetics, that's biology. It's God, if you're a religious person, giving you that. You know, there is a very easy thing. We have women, female reproductive organs, and men have male reproductive organs. There is nothing beside that biologically. Okay? Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll comment on the ideology, your feelings, your identifications, whatever. Well, maybe obviously we're going to get to that. But this is genetically. There is no right and wrong. There is no interpretation. There is only right and wrong. You are a female. You are a male. That's factual information.
Sex and gender are so much more than just this binary. Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas. That's not how gender works.
How do we know that? How do we know that that's not true? Where do we learn that from?
Yeah, well, I learned that from hearing from transgender people who've said, like, oh, I'm a trans woman, and just because I happen to have a penis, right, that doesn't mean that this is like who I am as a person, or that genitalia doesn't equal gender.
But if men and women don't exist,
that a trans woman is a woman.
But see, no, if you're saying gender isn't that, then you can't be a trans woman. You have to just be trans. You can't, if you're saying men and women are not binary, it's fluid, it's this, then you can't say you're a trans woman. You just have to say you're trans. You can't say you're a trans man. You just have to say you're a man. You're trans. You can't flip-flop those, right? Am I wrong? That's my question here.
Or that genitalia doesn't equal gender. Who they are, their gender,
genitalia.
A trans woman is a woman.
With the fluidity of these things, how do I know if I'm, I
That's a great question.
I like scented candles. So
Yeah.
I've watched.
Let me say this. Again, my apologies. I hope this isn't done sarcastically. I understand he's asking the question. So far, this lady, who I 100% disagree with, is very nice and very respectful. I hope this isn't one of those things where you try to aha the person with your knowledge versus their knowledge. That's something I don't particularly care for. I prefer facts and information, and that's it. I hope he doesn't try to one-up her with his thoughts. Even though I agree with him, I hope this isn't that, haha, I gotcha type of stuff.
woman.
With the fluidity of these things, how do I know if I'm a woman? You know,
That's a great question.
I like scented candles. And
Yeah.
I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I know?
Yeah, Matt, that question right there, like, that question is, like, when it's asked with a lot of curiosity, right? That's the beginning of a lot of people's, like, gender identity development journeys.
If my mom who gave birth to me is a woman, and my wife is a woman, though I haven't asked her. Maybe I should. But if they're all women, and also the boy who sits down with you and says, I think I'm a girl, actually is one, then what is a woman?
Yeah. Great question. I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
She is a woman, though. She really is one.
Therapy would make me less confused. Am I the only one feeling this way?
New York.
We're talking about gender in society. Let me start with a real basic question. What is a woman? I don't want to assume, but you guys are all women?
We're women.
So how would you define it, like in the simplest terms?
I'm glad they said it.
That is smart. Yeah, it is. It is a stumper.
A woman is someone that likes to be pretty and think of themselves as a delicate creature.
I'm pretty and delicate.
Okay.
I can be a woman too.
Yes, you could.
Defining womanhood is just a project of someone who identifies as a woman.
Yeah, but what do they identify? That's what I'm saying. What do they identify as? They identify as a woman, but what is that?
I honestly don't know.
It's a simple question. So why is it so hard to answer? For all of human existence, women were understood to be a certain thing. Over 2,000 surgeries and counting, Dr. Marcy Bowers is the nation's preeminent sex change surgeon. Surely someone who
2,000.
does sex change surgeries can answer what a woman is. Talking to us?
My pleasure.
So you're a world-renowned gynecologist and surgeon. You're also a transgender woman. Can you tell me a little bit about...
No, I mean, I identify as a woman, but
You're a woman, right?
I'm a woman with, I mean, that's my life, day to day, but I have a transgender history.
So one thing on your website
Very elegantly put.
Gender-affirmed GAV, gender-affirming vaginoplasty.
Mm-hmm.
What is that exactly?
A vaginoplasty is creation of a female vagina and vulva. We're altering the physical characteristics of the
See, this is where, again, this is where my confusion comes in. If you can't define what a woman is, your gender, like the previous therapist said, your gender doesn't make you a woman, but the leading surgeon says we do gender affirming, we give you a vagina to make you a woman. How can you say there isn't one, yet you can be made into one? And I'm not asking as a smartass. I'm asking semi-sarcastically, asking you to really think about it. If you're saying there are no women, you can't be a woman, but you are changing men to women and assigning women genitalia, then doesn't the other side of the argument lose? That there are women and there are men? If you are doing gender affirming surgery, affirm, make it so. You are making someone a woman, then you are a woman and you are a man, right? I'm just asking, because I don't understand how that's not seen as something. You know what I mean?
A vaginoplasty is creation of a female vagina and vulva. We're altering the physical characteristics of the individual to fit better with a gender identity that is female.
This is all constructed from the penis?
Yes, that's right. The surgeries are quite refined in the sense that they really, not only do they look like female anatomy, but they also function that way. For the most part. I mean, certainly it's a bit of a Faustian bargain. It's not perfect.
Does anyone ever regret their surgeries? Or We know they do, but how often do people regret their surgeries?
Well, actually, we don't know that they do. There are legitimate
we do.
transitioners, and there are people who truly feel that in their journey, they may have made a mistake. Now, fortunately, this is a really, really uncommon phenomenon.
I don't know if you've ever heard of people in the trans-abled community. These are people who are physically able-bodied but feel like they should be disabled or identify as such. For example, a man who has 2 arms but feels like he should have 1. If a man in this kind of marginalized community went to the doctor and said, I want to have my arm cut off, do you think that?
That doesn't have anything to do with gender identity.
Well, someone's.
He identifies as a one-armed person.
That's someone who has and I'll accept it as a mental diagnosis, a psychiatric condition. I don't even pretend to know what aptomenophilia is all about, but somehow.
No, that's the same thing. I'll go to a doctor's office. I feel like I want to be a woman. I want you to give me whatever I need to become a woman. Okay, go for it. I have 2 arms. I feel like I would be better off with a one-armed person. As a one-armed person, I need you to please amputate my arm. There's no difference in the ask. I feel like I'm something that I'm not. Can you assist in the change? She's saying one is okay. The other has a mental disorder. That's what she just said. One is okay. One has a mental disorder.
And I'll accept it as a mental diagnosis, a psychiatric condition. I don't even pretend to know what aptomenophilia is all about, but somehow it's the idea that you're fascinated or charmed by having a limb or part of a limb missing. Pardon my non-medical language, kooky.
You don't see any? You think this is totally irrelevant?
Yep.
So
how could you honestly say that?
What is a woman?
A woman is it's a combination of your physical attributes and then what you're showing to the world and the gender clues that you give. And hopefully those match your gender identity.
The critics on the other side of this issue.
There aren't many.
No, there's a bunch.
There aren't many who would disagree with what you're saying about.
Well,
yeah.
The dinosaurs of the world are certainly out there.
So you're a dinosaur if you believe a man is a man and a woman is a woman.
How long
Means
have
you're
you been
old school.
running the shop here?
25 years.
Wow. Now, you had an incident here a little while ago that went really viral online. Lots of reaction in the public.
Aberdeen Councilwoman Tiesa Meskis confronted owner Don Suker about a sign he posted in his store.
One day I just put the sign up over here, and he came around the corner, and I thought, okay, I recognize him. I says, I recognize you. You're our new city councilman. He says, no, I'm your new city councilwoman. So it was kind of on from there.
You know what? It's bullshit.
No, what you're spouting is bullshit.
No, it's not. Trans women are women, sir. That sign is bullshit.
I've been doing this 25 years. I've never had a problem with anybody, whether they're gay, transsexual, anything.
Now, you're saying councilman, this individual was saying, I'm a woman.
Right.
And you said you're not a woman. How do you know that person's not a woman?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Well,
this is old guy
common
gonna say.
sense.
Trans women are women!
Doesn't the science say that if someone identifies as a woman, then they are?
No. Now that's completely bogus. I don't care if you think you're a sheepdog and you come into my store. It don't matter to me. Just don't come in and try to shove that shit down my throat.
If it makes someone feel better, what about their feelings?
I don't give a shit about their feelings. I'm old.
What about the Star Wars universe? Jar Jar Binks, pansexual, do you think? Transgender?
Why would I even care?
If it's his truth.
Well, it ain't true.
You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major. Or are you?
No.
Okay. How do you know that you're a man?
How do I know that I'm I guess because I got a dick.
Well, I guess Don isn't overthinking it.
My name is Michelle Forcier, and I have a medical degree from University of Connecticut, residency, University of Utah Pediatrics, and I've worked for a number of different Planned Parenthoods for 20 years. I do advanced contraception and abortion, as well as gender hormones, and sort of looking at the whole sort of schema of gender, sex, and reproductive justice.
So you've done a lot of work in this field. Can you just start by telling us?
Sure.
At what age can a child first begin to transition into another gender or identify themselves as a gender different from how they were born?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's research and data that show that babies and infants understand differences in gender. Some children figure out their gender really early, and the reason why we say, oh, it's interesting or important is because they're figuring out their gender identity is not necessarily congruent with their sex assigned at birth.
When a doctor sees the penis and says, this is a male, has the sex of male, that's an arbitrary distinction?
Telling that family, based on that little penis, that your child is absolutely 100% male identified, no matter what else occurs in their life, that's not correct.
So what is gender affirmation care?
That is correct. Having a penis is what makes you a male. I mean, listen. So here's what I'm hearing. If the little toddler is a girl and keeps calling herself a girl, no big deal. But if on the off chance that little toddler girl says, "Oh, I'm a boy," they're like, "Oh, she knows her gender." It's only if it's the opposite of what it is, of being a male or female. If you say the opposite, it's like, oh, look, you know your gender. But if you say it 10 times over, girl, it's no harm, no foul. But one time, you're a little girl, oh, I'm a boy. Whoa, she knows her gender. We got to get her. Come on, people. That is not okay. I have a little daughter. She wears my boots all the time. I work outside. She looks up to me. I'm her father. I'm her role model. So she imitates me. That's what it is. No more, no less.
Go to a child is sitting down with you, is questioning their gender. What's the gender affirmation process?
Affirmation means that as a pediatrician, as someone who says my job is to provide the best medical care for you, is I need to listen really carefully. And how I put it in words for kids so that they can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity? Where are you right now?
Where have you been?
More exciting.
What do you mean, where have you been? She's a pediatrician. She sees young children. What kind of life journey have they gone through to give a story on how they feel? I don't think that is, I don't think that's logical.
They can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity?
Have you ever met a 4-year-old who believes in Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone who believes that a fat man is traveling through the sky on a flying reindeer at lightning speed, coming down his chimney with presents.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is someone who maybe has a tenuous grasp on reality?
They have an appropriate 4-year-old handle on the reality.
Agreed.
That's very real for them.
Agreed. But Santa Claus is real for them, but Santa Claus is...
An appropriate grasp on their reality. As a 4-year-old, their reality is Santa Claus is flying through the sky, getting to every house and down their chimney with presents in just one night. This is real to them. And she's saying that same mind, that same brain knows that they're a boy inside a girl's body. That's what she's saying.
Not actually real.
Yeah, well, but Santa Claus does deliver their Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, but he's not real, though.
To that child, they are.
When I see a child who, believes in Santa Claus, and then let's say this is a boy and he says, I'm a girl. Mm-hmm. This is someone who can't distinguish between fantasy and reality. So how could you take that?
I agree.
As a reality?
I would say that as a pediatrician and as a parent, I would say how wonderful my 4-year-old and their imagination is.
So should that imagination lock in your sexuality forever?
Should we really let our children define reality?
Hollywood, California.
If I said that I feel a certain way, then obviously you can't tell me I don't feel that way. But just because I feel that way, does that mean that it's true?
I mean, if it's your reality. If it's your reality. It's truly like none of my business.
So we all have our own.
All right, hold on a second.
Realities?
No. There's things that are not your business, and there are things that are your reality. No, that's not no. Reality is Santa Claus doesn't exist. And if I choose to believe yes, mind your business. Leave me alone. I get it. But I'm still wrong. Reality, I'm still not grasping reality the right way. If I feel that I'm an adult and Santa Claus is real, he's flying through the sky. I don't know, man.
Because I feel that way, does that mean that it's true?
I mean, if it's your reality. If it's your reality. It's truly like none of my business.
Those are two different things. Reality is reality. Your business is your business.
I want you to say that it's true that I'm a woman. Would you say that?
I would also say that.
If you want, I honestly don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I don't care.
What's true to you can be false to me. So it's like.
What if I said that it's true? My truth is that you don't exist. Does that mean you no longer exist?
I mean, if that's your truth, sure. I don't.
No, but that's not your truth. You actually exist.
I mean,
we can see you. You guys picking up on this,
well,
right?
Even if I said that you don't, you still do, because we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, are we?
I think so. I mean, I thought...
That's what you think.
No, listen. I get it. Quip, coy, you're LOLing, funny. But no, man.
I should probably look to the place where truth is the foremost pursuit. The American University.
Oh, God.
Is not just reduce gender to what psychologists might call individual differences, but rather thinking about gender, and that's not women and man, but gender as a social form, something that kind of infuses itself into virtually all aspects of social life.
Let's talk about that then. I guess we should start with, we've got gender and sex, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
I saw that in your questions and I thought, my goodness, this is what we spend an entire semester kind of thinking through. But what we tend to think about in the social sciences today is that sex refers to a set of biological characteristics and gender is a social construct or category. What I think is often misleading about that characterization is allowed to be sort of messy and complicated. But in that framing, when you split them up into these wholly discrete constructs, study scholars, and really more specifically people who study gender and sex, we're not talking about sexuality right now, in the kind of academic universe that I travel in, is that we see how deeply gendered ideas, cultural ideas about masculinity and femininity, maleness and femaleness, both in humans and in lots of other animals.
So are gender and sex two different things, or?
Well, I think that they both are and they aren't. I'm comfortable saying that gender and sex are two different constructs, but they're deeply intertwined with each other.
We're talking about gender and sex, and there's a lot of controversies there. If we're talking about a trans woman has all of the male physical characteristics, so would that not be a male then? Couldn't we plainly say this person is a male?
Well, I guess it's like, why are you asking the question? I think I want to understand sort of why that's so important. So if someone tells
me... I will answer before I even hear the answer. I think it's important because people are saying that it's not. They're saying that gender and sex are different, that women are not women, men are not men. Babies, children, adults with characteristics of male and female are not male and female. So the reason I believe, I'm going to answer it for me anyway, the reason we're asking the question is you're saying that we're wrong. That you're saying that all of history, all of life, everywhere on this planet, it's been wrong for millions of years. That's why we're asking the question.
It's like, why are you asking the question? I think I want to understand sort of why that's so important. So if someone tells
Just
you...
to sort of understand reality, you know?
Well, I mean, I think when someone tells you who they are, you should believe them. So if a person says that they're a woman or they're a man...
A convicted felon saying he's innocent, you believe them?
Their gender is. I'm not so sure what social interactions would have to do with maleness or femaleness that we
Well, I'm not even talking about social context. I'm just trying to start by getting to the truth, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of, like, getting to the truth. Again, in social life...
Is uncomfortable getting to the truth.
It sounds actually deeply transphobic to me. And if you keep probing, we're going to stop the interview.
If I probe about what the truth is?
You keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude. I'm saying to you...
How is the word truth condescending and rude?
Yeah, how?
Why don't you tell me what your truth is, and you're walking on 30 seconds more of than ice before I get up.
Get up, bro.
What my truth is? Well, I don't think I really have a truth. I think that there's just the truth. Like the reality. And so we should begin by trying to figure out what the reality is.
Uh-huh. And why are you concerned with when someone else tells you that they're a man, or even if they use the word male, why are you concerned with not believing them?
Well, you keep bringing it back to, how do you respond in a social situation?
That's what I do. I'm a social scientist.
Well, right. But we're in a university. This is a place of understanding truth, isn't it? Or
absolutely. We pursue the truth, and I'm a social scientist, and that's what I do.
You just said the truth is transphobic.
That you would say, if you're saying the truth is that I get to say, you're not a man, show me your genitalia, that's transphobic.
No, I don't want to see a man's genitalia. I just mean... Someone can make a statement about themselves that could be untrue. Like, for example, if I were to say that I'm a black man, would you accept that, or would you be skeptical?
I bet this guy gets
up and leaves. Black? Are you African American? Are you biracial?
I don't think so.
Well, you don't look that, and I don't think it doesn't sound like that's a genuine statement of who you are.
Okay, so that's my point. I could make
I get what he meant by a genuine statement. That's incorrect. So.
Of course, I think it's
so. I get where he's coming from. Now I got a little testy there for a second. I think he's saying maybe the other two when they're working with children. I can't wrap my head around that. But this guy being in college, a professor, I think I understand where he is coming from, as far as just for that last statement anyway. That. It's not what you're saying isn't a genuine. You're just saying it. So, I think he's coming from a place of these people truly, genuinely believe that they are one or the other. Why are you so quick to question how they feel? I understand where he's coming from. I don't wholly agree with him, but I understand that statement there.
Are you black? Are you African American? Are you biracial?
I don't think so.
Well, you don't look that, and I don't think it doesn't sound like that's a genuine statement of who you are.
Okay, so that's my point. I could make a statement about who I am that's incorrect.
Of course, I think it's well established that human beings can lie, yes.
Or not even lie. I mean, I could just be mistaken.
Yeah.
I guess this all comes down to really one question. Especially women, gender, and sexuality studies. So what is a woman?
Why do you ask the question?
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well,
these guys smack their lips one more time. I'm going to lose my mind.
This is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
Why the deflecting?
a lot of like this where you're not answering. I've got a lot of that. So
It's interesting that you say that some of the people you've interviewed have been reluctant to answer it, and I think that has a lot to do with the questions that preceded it and the way that you've conducted yourself in the interview.
How have I conducted myself?
How do you think you've conducted yourself?
Bro, come on, dude. Yeah, this time you got to get up and leave. Now this guy clearly doesn't want to answer the questions. Yeah, he does it.
I came today very willing and enthusiastic about answering questions about women's and gender sexuality studies, which is what I do.
You wanted to answer questions about women's studies.
Yeah, so, what is a woman? That's a basic question
to provide is what exactly is a woman?
Well, for me, it's actually a really simple answer, and that's a person who identifies as a woman.
But what are they identifying as?
As a woman.
So what is that?
As a woman.
This guy knows what woman is, it seems like.
I do.
It's sort of like what you're doing right now, where a woman is a woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of biological or cultural characteristics that are associated with one gender or the other.
I'm not seeking any type of definition. I'm just seeking a definition.
Yeah, and I gave you one.
Well, now I can say I've been to college. Glad I didn't pay for it. Dr. Grossman, thanks for talking to us. You're a psychiatrist, medical doctor, and you've done a lot of work in child psychiatry. What is transgenderism from a psychiatric standpoint?
The best way to approach it is by speaking about gender dysphoria, which is an intense loathing and discomfort with one's biological sex. They exist anywhere between 1 in 30,000 people and 1 in 110,000. It's important to distinguish those people from what's happening much more recently, which is kids that never had any discomfort or dysphoria, as it's now called, with their biological sex. And then quite suddenly, as preteens or as adolescents, they come out and they announce that they are gender fluid, or they start to question their sex. So first, let's define the terms sex and gender.
Yes, please.
Sex is biology. Sex is unchanging. It's based on chromosomes. 99.999% of the cells in the body are marked either male or female. Gender, on the other hand, is a perception. It's a feeling. It's a way of identifying. It's an experience. Okay, that's subjective.
It sounds like what you were saying is that if a man is male but thinks of himself as a woman, he's not actually a woman?
That's correct.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
In reality. In truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No, you're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry? Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's frame it, because you're talking, you're trying to...
Chicken has sex like any biological
chicken
organism.
has an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
Now, I was told that really everyone agrees with the current approach to gender and transitioning kids and all of that. And if you don't agree, then you're a dinosaur and a bigot. So, are you a bigoted dinosaur?
I'm not bigoted and I'm not a dinosaur. I am rooted in reality and in science.
Whose reality?
There's one reality.
There really is one reality. We're going to stop it here. I mean, the lady he called the bigoted dinosaur, I still kind of don't agree with what she said. That gender is a social construct. It is gender. What's your gender, male or female? You know, we've all filled out job application that asks for sex, that asks for gender. It's M or F. It's been that way forever. One says gender, one says sex. They don't have both on there. So we've always put it as one and the same. I understood what she said. Gender is how you feel. It's whatever. If a man is a man, his sex is a male. His chromosomes say so. He cannot change that. His chromosomes say he's a man. But if he wants to identify his gender as a woman, fine, but he's still a man. I personally can understand that. I understand that. I get where she's coming from. That made the most sense to me. Oddly enough, the second person who made the most, not oddly enough, no, I wasn't, the blue-haired lady, the talking about the chicken, she by far and away was the most difficult for me to understand. The gender studies guy, he didn't want to answer the question no matter what he said, but he tried to, like, well, what do you think? What do you think? Like, just, I'm asking you what a woman is, and your response is, what do you think a woman is? I'm asking you, the guy who teaches women's studies, gender studies, he kept calling himself a social scientist. He just couldn't answer the question. Like, that's weird to me that you refuse to do that. But the lady in the blue made the most sense. The first lady, though I didn't agree with her, I got where she was coming from. Again, didn't agree. But I understood her thought, why she said some of the stuff she said. The social scientist guy, he was, a little testy at times, little attitude-ish. But I didn't agree with him at all either. But I get what he was saying at certain times. Don't agree, but understood some of his points. But the other lady, not for me, man. I'm sorry. She just did. Oh, and the doctor, the world-renowned surgeon. I didn't get that either. To me, he hit the nail on the head with you identify as a one-armed person. I want my arm amputated. For her not to make that correlation between gender reassigning. Come on. And every person he asked, I noticed when they asked what a woman is, they all kind of stuttered before they answered. They all didn't have an answer to give. They all were kind of like, what do you think it is? Oh, we all knew what it was until a few years ago. So, this is it, part one. Again, not here to offend anybody. I don't believe I'm talking about the show, not to a person. So if you are offended, just please stop watching. I'm giving my thoughts, my feelings. If you understand the my truth stuff, I'm giving my truth that I think these people are highly incorrect. So you can't be upset if you believe that, because my truth is they're wrong. So if that's the case, just please don't watch anymore. Part 2, part 3 coming at you soon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. Please, appreciate your support. You guys have a good day.